let me show you how you could clone two people's voices. Of course, this could also be the public library voices. This could also be, for example, the voices that you create from a prompt using the voice maker tool feature, or even, let's say, for example, it's somebody's voice that you have permission to use. So for in this particular case, what I'm going to show you is, let's say, for example, I clone two voices, right? First one I'm going to do is Yash's voice. So let's say Yash natural voice. Okay. And then I'll put the language and then I will clone the voice here. So I'll hit the clone here and then I will clone this voice. Okay. So let's do that. And then next, I'm going to upload my voice. So my voice. So then basically this will be me. Okay, so as an example, and then I will pick this, or I can pick any voice really. So I can even start again and I can upload my excited tone or whatever. So I can say Paul natural voice, okay? And then again, I will clone this voice. So then what's gonna happen once this is done? They will appear like, so you see Yash natural voice, Paul natural voice, and that's the thing, okay? Next, you can go to podcasts. Create new podcast. So you go to podcast and create new podcast. And then you're going to come into this language here. For right now, you can do it in English and then go here, select voice. I'll go into the clone voices and then I'm going to put Paul natural voice and then Yash's natural voice. Again, go into the clone and Yash natural voice. So now I'm going to say Paul and then Yash. And what is the topic about? Just to make things fun, I'm just going to say, okay, Paul and Yash are having a friendly argument over AI revolution and its impact on jobs. Paul believes that AI will be a force for good and create new jobs, while Yash disagrees and believes AI is going to take away jobs, at least for the short term. Okay. So this is the discussion. And then I just click on this and then I click on the create podcast. It's going to do its thing. As you see, it's going to take a few seconds to create the whole podcast script separated from speaker one and speaker two. In this case, speaker one is me, and then speaker two is Yash, correct? And then it's also going to start out the whole script, the pacing and all that kind of stuff, and how back and forth the banter will occur, okay? It will generate us the script with basically the flow, right? It says, welcome to the next 10 years. Today we're tackling one of the most pressing questions of our time. Is AI an engine for economic growth, or it is a threat to modern workforce, right? You get the point. And then Yash is talking, thanks for having me, Paul, and on, right? So this is basically what we generated automatically. Then if you're happy with what you see, let's just click on the generate podcast button. Okay, we're going to hit the generate podcast button. Then take, depending on the length of the podcast, it's going to take anywhere from a few minutes to maybe even 20, 25 minutes or more, depending again on the length and other aspects of what you've done here, right? So, and once you generate the podcast, it will show up under this tab, okay? Similar to like how it has my audios here, which is basically where all your other generations, your clone voices and stuff would appear. In this particular case, it'll appear under my podcast, okay? Then you can go and click on the create podcast. Anyway, it's going to take me 15 minutes or something, or 10 minutes, whatever, to play it. So for the sake of speed, I'm going to show you how it sounds like, okay? How my voice or Yash's voice would sound like.
Welcome to the next 10 years. Today we are tackling one of the most pressing questions of our time. Is AI an engine for economic growth, or is it a threat to the modern workforce? To help us unpack the more cautious view, I'm joined by Yash. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Paul. I believe it's a critical conversation we need to have now more than ever.
I agree. So let's dive right in. The core fear I hear is that millions of high-skilled white-collar jobs are on the verge of being automated away. From your perspective, how real is that threat?
It's not just real, it's already happening. This isn't like the Industrial Revolution. We're not replacing manual labor, we're automating cognitive tasks. I'm talking about paralegals, accountants, junior analysts, even writers. A single AI can now review thousands of documents for legal discovery in an afternoon, a task that used to take a team of lawyers weeks. That's not creating efficiency, it's eliminating an entire job category. The scale is terrifying.
But that's a classic case of seeing the losses and not the gains. You're forgetting the second and third order effects. The internet eliminated thousands of travel agent jobs, right? But it created millions of new ones. Social media managers, SEO specialists, e-commerce consultants, app developers, roles nobody could have imagined in 1995. AI is the same. It's a tool that will create entirely new industries.
But what industries? That's just a hopeful guess. The roles AI is eliminating are concrete and immediate. The roles you're talking about are theoretical. And the skills gap is a chasm. A 45-year-old accountant can't just retrain as an AI ethicist overnight. We're creating a permanent, unemployable class of workers whose skills have become obsolete, and that is a recipe for social disaster.
I see it differently. It's not about replacement, it's about augmentation. AI will handle the tedious 80% of a job, the data crunching, the report generation, freeing up the human to focus on the critical 20% strategy, client relationships, and creative problem solving. We won't have fewer accountants, we'll have more strategic financial advisors. We're elevating jobs and creating new support roles like AI implementation specialists to manage this new ecosystem.
I hope you're right, but I fear we're driving toward a cliff while admiring the view.
All right. So now once you create a cloned voice, right, what do you do next? Okay. What's the next process? So if you don't want to use podcasts with multiple people speaking, for example, you just want to just create audio, and you can even use things like, for example, multiple languages that you can generate depending on the clone. So generally, for example, if you're creating, you're a native Spanish speaker, or a native Hindi speaker, for example, cloning a native Hindi voice will obviously give you better quality, more sound like you, compared to if you use the translate feature. But translate feature, you can treat it like AI dubbing, where it'll dub your English voice into another language, okay? Even if you don't know how to speak that language, all right? So now this is how the create audio tab works. Very straightforward. There's a lot of options, obviously, but I'll walk you through it right now so you get a better understanding. I'll zoom my screen. Your clone voices can now be utilized to generate professional audios, and you can also use our generic voices and standard voices that are included here as well. In addition, you can also translate and create multilingual audios as well here. So basically, the create audio section works as an all-inclusive section for where you can generate professional audio and bring it all together with multiple speakers and that sort of thing through our block system. So before we get to that, let's discuss the first step. So when you land on the create audio, you see that gives an audio name. So let's say you have a project that you're creating audios from. So let's say this is about a topic like, let's say, for example, fitness, right? Fitness and dieting tips, let's say. Now you want to use a voice. So let's say we go to here and click on the select voice button. So here you have generic voices that we have here. As you can see that you can utilize, these are our system voices, as we like to call them. So you can use these system voices. So these are professional voices that you can utilize within the system. So this is useful for many cases where you want to go beyond your clone voices and that sort of thing, or even beyond the prompt to voice design voices as well. So these are something you can utilize here. You have the search functionality here as well, where you can search for it. This is crucial where you have a lot of clone voices or voice design voices, for example, and a lot of favorited voices as well, right? So now if I want to pick my clone voices, what I would do is, you see right here where it says system. So here you would actually click the system, and you see where it says different categories. So let's talk about that right now. So cloned means your cloned voices Okay, so this is basically where, I cloned a voice of my own, or I uploaded a voice and a clone and that sort of thing. I would pick this and then it will show, you see this right here, my voice that I've cloned here. Okay, so since the language is English, so this is my English clone voice. So if I chose, let's say, a language is Spanish or something else, so, and then I click select voice, you see this is my Spanish voice. This will appear here under the clone category. So it's basically the language sorting feature, if you will. Okay, so if you want to have a different language clone voices you have here, just make sure you select the original language here first before you click on select voice. Okay, that way it'll show up. So for now, I'll just click on English to simplify this. I'll click select, and then let's say I want to use my clone voice, I would do so. Now, if I want to use one of the designed voices, I will click that. So since I don't have any that I created yet, because that'll be the next tutorial we're gonna get to, it's basically a link, and then public library as well. The public library has thousands and thousands of unique voices that were built, and these will also appear here if you actually selected them. Again, you will have that in the next tutorials once you go to it, how to use the voices and bring them here. Okay, the public library voices once you go to the public library section. So for now, we'll just click on the clone voices, but the logic is the same. Okay, whether it's a design voice or public library voice or a clone voice, whatever, they will all appear here, and you can then bring them and use them. Okay, so in this particular case, let's say I want to use my voice, see, Paul voice in-app recording one, and then you can use a script here. Now, you'll see a couple of other features. See, translate to, it's an optional feature. So if you want to translate this into another language, you can do so. Useful where, for example, you want to generate a multilingual audio which you don't speak that language, right? You can choose the translate option. Alternatively, you can obviously paste the script in your language. So let's say your language is Spanish or Hindi or German or whatever. You would just pick German as an example and paste your German script. So that way it won't be a little bit non-realistic, because sometimes translations might not, because it's made by AI, not be as natural as spoken day to day because of slang words used and stuff like that in your language, right? And different languages, for example, and even different accents, like for example, Spain Spanish or Argentinian Spanish or Mexican Spanish differs in terms of the slang words used, casual terms used to derive the same meaning. Right. So this is the reason why if you want to be more authentic, then you can basically paste the script from that language itself. Okay. So now, as you can see here, I'm just going to pick English here for now, and then I can put the script. Now, let's say I want to use, I don't know what to type. I can then use the generate script button right here. Okay. So this generate script button basically works where you can just click on generate script, and then you can put a topic. Say, for example, I wanted to do it on ketogenic diet for weight loss, as an example. Okay, that's the topic. And then you can select the category of the script: short forms of social media videos, children's storybooks, animated video, advertisement and commercial script, explainer educational videos, YouTube video scripts, blogs, reviews, tutorials, podcast scripts, and on and on. In this particular case, let's say I want to create it for educational explainer use case, then I can just do that and create generate script, or alternatively, I could even give a website URL actually and generate it. This is useful for where, for example, you have an e-commerce website, or let's say you have even in some cases an article you want to base it off of to create a video on, or even let's say you want to create it for a dentist or chiropractor or plastic surgeon, that kind of a business service-based business, plumber, electrician. Then you can paste their website URL here, and then you can generate that as well. So let me show you that as well. Okay, right now. So first, let's try this, then I'll show you the next step. So click on generate script, and then it'll generate the script for me, okay? And it will arrange it for me in a nice, neat way, like so, correct? You see this? So it generated me the script. Have you ever struggled to lose weight, even when you feel like you're doing and on, right? And then you can go to the very next step, like after selecting the voice. So let's say I can go back, and then I can go and click clone voice, and then I'll select my voice again, and then click create audio, and it will go to the next step, which we're just going to do preview segments and the block system, which is incredible. It gives you a lot of flexibility. But before we get to that, let me show you as well, because you might be wondering, for example, where like I want to generate from a website URL. Okay, so let me show you that right now. So in this particular case, I'm on this website. Look, let me just copy this URL. So what this is Marnie, and in this particular case, it's a naturopath, right? Botanical medicine and that sort of thing, digestive issues and that sort of thing. And so let's say, for example, clinical nutrition is the case here. And so as you can see here, these are the services offered and that sort of thing. So you can just go to copy, and then let's go to generate. And then in this particular case, I'll paste it, the URL, you can see here. And it can be even just the domain name too, but in this particular case, I can even put it. And if you want to do web search, so web search is basically where you don't have a specific URL, but you want, like, say, for example, you're not sure which page to get this information from. It'll get it from there. Okay, does that make sense? That's what web search is. It's optional. You don't have to do it in many cases because just from this page alone, we'll get the details, correct? So you get the idea. So now in this particular case, in the topic, you can say how our our natural nutritional, let's say, right, nutritional consulting will benefit your health, let's say. Okay, and then you can just do category, and then again you can put, what is this for? Educational videos, or is it for advertisements, commercial scripts? Let's say advertisements, right? Because I want to create an ad or something like that for this, like a voiceover ad, that kind of thing. So then I would just generate the script. So this is also another option. Okay, so again, this is useful where, for example, you want to do it for a specific business or an e-commerce brand and that sort of thing. So as you can see here at Marinela Clinical Nutrition, we go beyond generic diets. We create evidence-based tailored nutrition plans and that sort of thing. And it creates a nice little ad. And of course, you can modify it. You can use ChatGPT to generate a bigger version, or any other thing like Google Gemini or something like that. There's so many other ways to create it. But this is a good way for you to get an idea started. Okay. So then again, you can go in here, and then you can go and update the audio, and boom, it can now see how it goes into the next step. Now, this is the step that is the most critical part of, I would say, the create audio section. What this is a blocks-based system. So you have block number 1, right? This is block number 1. Then you got block number 2, you see, and on, right? So this will be block number 2, and on and on. So basically, the beauty of the block system is that you can nicely create certain elements and add and remove things and make changes and that sort of thing, right? So for example, you see here, I have struggling with stubborn fatigue and that sort of thing. Let's say, for example, I want to only put an emotional style for this, like in the beginning for this block. I can then go into this section, emotion style section, okay, that you see here. I can just click drop down. And let's say, for example, I want to create a very, let's say, for example, surprise or calm or happy tone. Okay. In this particular case, for example, because, we are trying to push the pain points, I will put effectively an afraid or surprised kind of thing, right? If you will. Okay. So then you can use an afraid emotion just for this. Okay, you understand? And then that way you can basically test this, how this sounds like and that sort of thing. So you can even preview it here. So what we did is to make sure the previews generate quickly. We only preview the first few words, so you get an idea. That way, people are not generating tons and tons of previews, which slows down the generation time, because we're using the next generation AI technology for this. So you can just click on the preview tab, and then the preview tab is right here. Okay, so this is for preview, so you can check out how this sounds like, if you will. As you can see, it says here, note, preview is limited to the first 10 words for faster processing. Okay, again,
struggling with stubborn fatigue, digestive upset, or feeling constantly out of balance. It is time for a personalized approach to your health. Struggling
You get the point, right? So I'm not too satisfied about it, then I can use sad, for example, right? And then I can confirm that sort of thing. And you can mix and match. Like say at Money Nutrition, we go beyond generic diets. Maybe I don't want to put any emotional side. It should be my normal voice. And then I want to add only for this, imagine increased energy. Maybe this is happy. So you can play around with it. And again, this is optional. Okay. So you don't even have to do it if you don't want to. Let's say you want to just keep your default voice, because sometimes emotions can change your voice tonality a little bit. Obviously, because you have to change. Just like a musician will change their vocal when they're singing different tunes. When you're changing emotions, your voice will slightly change, right? It's just a natural thing. So that is one. Okay, so you can mix and match the styles. The second thing is, you see this add expressions. So you can add expressions. So what is an expression? An expression is basically where chuckle, cough, groan, laugh. So let's say, for example, this is very powerful in conversational style where, you can add things, for example, are you really happy with this? Because I heard something really funny, haha, that kind of thing. So chuckle, laughter, and the long pause, short pause, sigh, sneeze. We have all these yawn and that sort of thing. Okay. The way you should do this is not overdo this, obviously. It has to look natural, right? So let's say, for example, it would make sense, So I would say struggling with stubborn fatigue, digestive upset, or feeling constantly out of balance. And then here I could put, let's say, something like instead of chuckle, it makes more sense to sigh, right? You can, or right?
Ugh.
Right? That's that emotion. You can put that in here. So that's the basic idea. You can put that anywhere in. You can do up to 5 of these tags per each block. The idea is, again, we don't want to put too many so it looks strange. You want to make it natural, just like a podcast or just like any video or an audio, whatever we've seen. It looks very natural, right? That's why we've done that in this way. And again, you can play around with it across the board. And as you can see here, you have all these other words in here. Now, let me just go back to the step number 1 again for create audio. I want to show you that option where you can generate the script. Okay. So you see this, right? As you can see here, you can just put ketogenic diet benefits or whatever. And right here, it says web search optional. So this is another useful thing where, say, for example, you're not too sure about the topic, you want to also do some research on something more relevant, something new, you can do it. So for example, let's say I wanted to create an educational video and it's about, let's say, some recent event. Okay. So let's say a recent event could be, say, for example, how tariffs could increase inflation. That's an example because it's more recent. Also, let's say, for example, then you can just generate the script and it will go with the latest news that is about tariffs or inflation or something else, right? So basically, that's the idea of having to utilize, okay, that web search, because some cases maybe you want to have that more relevant data, okay? So then you can click on create new audio, and again you can use the expressions, happy, sad, whatever, and then emotional style and the expressions here, as you can see, cough, chuckle, whatever. Okay, and now you're happy with the voice. You can just click on generate audio, and then it will generate it whatever the title that you decide to give it. Now there are a couple of features here that I will explain here. So one thing is, once it's finished, you're going to see right here under the play button, you can play it. Then you can clone the project and you can even edit the project. You can download the project or delete the project. All these tabs are in right here. Now, the next thing obviously is for you to even use the merge function. So if you wanted to merge multiple audios and make it a longer length clip set, you can do that by just selecting it. So you can select this, for example, or whatever you want to do. You can select it and you can basically click on it and you can generate the audios right here as one big audio file, and then you can merge it together. So that function is good for you to create longer length clips, if you will, or audio files or voiceovers and that sort of thing. Now, let's say you don't have a perfect voice to clone. Maybe you don't even want to clone a voice. You want to generate a voice from scratch, right, with a simple prompt, then the best feature for that, okay, is our voice maker feature. Okay, you see this voice maker feature on the top. I kind of zoomed it in so you can easily see it, but you see the point, right? So you see this professional voice maker and then creative voice maker. So I'll go into these step by step. Again, I'll zoom in into my screen and show you how this works. Some demo audios of created from a prompt. Okay, it gives you a better idea on how to use this feature, and it's pretty awesome because you can generate human sounding voices, but also creative voices, which are not exactly human, like alien, fairy, pirate, wizard, goblin. You get the point. This will give you unlimited potential variations and creativity rather than just being stuck to a rigid or standard set of voices, for example, like our system voices or basically any other text-to-speech things that you've worked with, where there's a set limit of the number of voices and the type of voices that you can create because they're all standard. So there's two components here where number one, you have professional voice maker, and then second, you have the creative voice maker. What is the difference between both? So as you can see, the descriptions you can we've written down here. So professional voice maker is basically where you can generate human sounding professional voices using text prompts. Now, this is, for example, narration, conversational, promotional. So the idea here would be, let's say, for example, you want a podcast host voice, or you want to have a news reporter voice, or you want to have, for example, a conversational style voice, for instance, or promotional, let's say a theatrical trailer type of voice where somebody's speaking with a very husky voice, for example, right? So that kind of thing where it's very human sounding. Okay, so I'll show you an example of this right now, and then we'll go to the next one. So this is that. And then the next one is creative voice maker. So creative voices are more expressive in nature. These could be even non-human sounding effectively. Okay, so the customization of the tone, accent, age, pitch, pacing can be directed through text prompts. So this could be, say, like an alien voice, or fairy, a pirate, or 18th century Shakespearean king voice, wizard, a goblin. You get the idea, right? Very creative type of voices, and they sound that way. They sound, the pacing is very slow sometimes, or very fast sometimes. It might sound very childish. Some might even call it unprofessional in a professional setting. But the point is they're creative in nature, very good for storytelling, very good for creating for specific videos with specific characters, for example, that you can use this for. You get the point, right? Some, let's say, very cartoonish storybooks, for example, that sort of thing. Okay, anyway, so now that you have the differentiation, let's go create two examples of this, and we can basically go from there. So the first thing is we can just use this start professional. I'll show you because it's very straightforward. Like start professional, so you would give it a name. So let's say, for example, I'll say an assertive news reporter, let's say. Okay, that's the voice name. So all I need to do is I can just paste a prompt, write a prompt like an assertive, authoritative news reporter's voice, cool, composed, confident, and clear, American English accent. So let's say I want to change this to, let's say, for example, something else. I can change it. Okay, you get the point, right? So you can make it Australian or British, right? You get the point. So let's say British. Okay, you get the point. And then you click on generate. So I'll just put British here, and just for my reference, click create. So it's going to take a few seconds to generate. So here's an example of one I've generated in the past. There we go. So let's just play this.
The scientist carefully adjusted the microscope, her steady hands guiding the delicate instrument as she prepared to examine the mysterious sample.
So pretty cool, right? Very British accent, and very professional, human sounding. Okay, that's the key thing. The idea is that it sounds like a human. Basically, you're looking for realism here, okay? You're looking for that which sounds like a human being is speaking in a professional setting. Now, in the case of the other direction, which is the voice maker, which is creative voice maker, now we're really creating anything and everything you can imagine effectively. So you're going to more, let's say, whimsical style. You're trying to create it for storytelling, that sort of thing. So let's try that one. Let's go to create, start here. So now here, the way it works is basically you can generate anything. So let's say, for example, I wanted to do, let's say, teenage female fairy. Okay. All right. So here you can make it short descriptions that are good enough, like an old pirate voice, vampire voice and stuff, a mischievous teenage fairy, for example, right? And then click on preview creative voices. Okay. So what we basically do is we're analyzing your description to generate the best creative voices. So then what we will give you is we'll give you 5 options that you can pick from, because, you know, these are creative voices. Somebody might say this is not mischievous enough, right? Somebody might say this is way too mischievous in terms of speaking, and you want to pick and choose. So let's play and see which one we like.
Soft light warms my whiskers as I pad past the bakery. People hum and sip. I nose.
So that was the first one. Let's see this one.
Soft light warms my whiskers as I pad past the bakery. People hum.
The second one.
Soft light warms my whiskers as I pad past the bakery. People hum and sip. I nose crumb.
The fourth one.
Soft light warms my whiskers as I pad past the bakery. People hum and sip. I nose crumb.
The fifth one.
Soft light warms my whiskers as I pad past the bakery. People hum and sip.
There we go. Personally, for me, I like voice option 1. So it actually looks like a teen. It sounds like a teenage voice. It sounds like a female fairy would speak, right? So this is the idea, okay? And every time you do it, so it's going to generate a different variation of it that you can play around with. That's why we give you 5 options to play with, okay? Then you can just select one of these and then you can create a voice. Boom. There we go. So it says completed. So teenage female fairy has been completed. So all you have to do now is these two. You can just click on the heart icon. So you see this right here, these heart icons to keep it handy, right? So that you know you created it. If you like it, if you did not as well, it's okay. What's going to happen is next time and every time going forward, when you go and you click on this create audio section, okay, you can then go in and you'll see these under the design voice, which I'll show you. Create audio, okay? And then let's say we want to do the fairy story, okay, or something, okay? Click on select voice, okay? Again, I'm showing you right now what I'm doing here, select voice. And then you click on that. And then here under, you see this section right here that you see, select category. And then it says system there. So basically we're going to drop down here and you see it says designed here. That's what we're clicking. Okay. So there we go. So you see here, we have the actual tones here. So you can even search for it. So fairy, let's say, right? Teenage female fairy. There we go. The one I picked, and then boom, select it. And there we go. It shows up teenage female fairy. And then we can just give it a script and just get started. So let's say, for example, we can then do children's storybooks, right? So whimsical story of a teenage fairy finding fortune. I don't know, something, right? Something like that. And then it's just going to generate a story. And you can go use ChatGPT or whatever you want to be able to generate the basic storyline, and then you can go click create, and then again you can preview the first few lines to see if it's up to the standards that you're looking for example, like so. It's gonna take a few seconds for the preview to load up, and then
Pip was a young fairy, wings like shimmering dragonfly.
there we go, right? So we saw the preview right now. If you're happy with it, now you just go click create a story, fairy story, and it's going to do that. And then you can go ahead doing your thing, okay? And you can go do the same thing again with other stuff. So let's say we go back to the voice maker. Let's say we want to use a creative voice maker again. And this time I want to do it on a up, say, let's say, for example, angry pirate, let's say, right? So you can just say an angry pirate, an angry old pirate, let's say, okay? And then again, it'll generate basically the best possible creative voices and gives you a selection, as you can see here, like so. And you can pick the one you like. From this one, I personally like option number 2.
The scent of fresh rain washes over a city at dawn. The world wakes in a hush. A slow
Way better, right? It actually looks angry and it matches my what I'm looking for. Then I can just click on the create voice. And again, same process. Every time you go to create audio and then you go to select voice, go to system, designed. There we go. We have our angry pirate voice. Okay. This is the reason why I suggest to make it small and tiny than names, because then you can easily search for them later on as well. You see, I have an assertive. It just got, a news reporter too as well. So just want to make sure that it's, a little bit easy for you to remember and short and sweet, because we may have hundreds of voices down the line here, right? Down the line. So again, you choose angry pirate, whatever story you want to put. You want to generate it, you do it, or you want to type it in. Let's say an angry pirate on his way to find treasure in the ocean, let's say, okay? And then you can say children's storybooks or whatever. And then you can generate the script. Again, same process as you are very familiar with so far, right? Very, very straightforward, very easy to use so far, as you can see. And it allows you to create any type of variations, and you can play around with it, as you can see. And then again, here we go, click create audio, and then you can add emotions to it or whatever if you want to, but since it's already an angry pirate, so we want to make sure that we keep it, let's say, okay? And then you can generate the video, right? That's pretty much it in terms of the voice maker feature. I know it sounds simple, but it allows you to create so many different variations, both on the professional voiceover maker side and the creative voice maker side. So go ahead and use it to your heart's desire and create any type of voice you wish. If you don't even want to use any prompts, let's say, I don't know what to put in here. I don't even know what to type here. I don't have that kind of creativity to think about what a goblin is and all that. So you can go in and go to our public library. This public library has over 7,000 creative voices that my team and I and some of our beta testers put together for you to use. So you could type in, say, a pirate and just get tons and tons of pirate options. Say pirate sorceress, Caribbean pirate, right? Pirate treasure adventure, you see space pirate, older pirate, all that kind of stuff, right? And it comes with over 7,000 different choices that you can pick from. Okay, so again, this is like very unique voices too. So let me show you this one, for example, and you can pick a plus icon here and you can get them into your workflow at any point in time. Let me do that again, because I had my microphone showing up, which kind of will kind of create a reverb, but let me show you this.
Hey, this is what I sound like. You can use me for narration, videos, or any project you imagine.
Let's try something more unique. All right, Swamp Witch.
Hey,
Let's try Shadow Court Jester.
Hey, this is what I sound like. You can use me for narration, videos, or any project you imagine.
I want something unique, all right? So let's try a Goblin.
Hey, this is what I sound like. You can use me for narration, videos, or any project you imagine.
Interesting. You can even, if you don't know what voice is doing, you can always go refresh it, and you can scroll down and you're going to see tons of other choices here, that you can pick from. Let's say, for example, you can see here, cheerful robot toy, sparkly princess, playful squirrel. Let's try playful squirrel and mischievous elf.
Each new morning arrives like a quiet promise. Bright and steady, breathe in, notice the light on the wall, the hum of distant traffic, the soft rhythm of your own steps. Move gently, speak clearly, and let curiosity lead you. Small choices, Repeat it daily. Shape a kinder, braver life.
Let's try mischief yourself.
Hey, is this what I sound like? You can use me for narration, videos, or any project you imagine.
Perfect for Christmas time stories, right? Holiday season, that sort of thing. And of course, you have 7,000 plus, and you keep adding every single day. And as you can see, 1920s boxing announcer, you can create Shakespearean king from the 18th century. You get the idea. You can do anything you desire with this public library feature. Let me show you how you can create, say, kids' rhymes and music and that sort of thing. So this is pretty straightforward as well. So all you have to do is, let's take a rhyme about a baker girl selling her cakes in the town. All right. I just click on it. It automatically creates the lyrics and actually the song itself. So we can say baker girl song. Okay. And then again, let me show you once you create it. So let's say, for example, you go create this, right? For the sake of time, it's going to take me a few minutes maybe a couple of minutes or so to generate this, but let's assume, right? So how it sounds like. Okay, let me play it right now. Let me actually try it. It actually finished much faster than I thought it was. So let's just click the play button. And there we go. The song is playing right now in a sec.
Lily's kitchen, warm and bright. Smelled of sugar, cured her pure delight. Flart and sprinkles flew, making cakes for me and you. Butter creamy, extra delicious baking mesh.
All right, so yeah, I'm gonna pause it right now because it can keep going on and on. So you get the idea, right? How you quickly can create children's rhymes and music and stuff, which is our own invention in a way. And then the other thing also, you can create music and then you can do it in these categories. We plan to add more categories, obviously. So you can put pop and a song about a romantic relationship and a breakup, right? You get the point. Like stuff like this, you can basically create. So let me actually show you an example. A song about high school breakup, right? And then you just click create, and then it's going to create the lyrics, and then of course the song, you see, and then you can just give it a name, like so, high school breakup song. Actually, let me play the example here. Once it's created, I'll show you. So this is the song, teenage breakup pop song. So let's play it right now. I'll just play about 15-20 seconds, okay? Because again, it'll bore you.
This is the ache of teenage love, a sky that fell from high. Tears like rain on a summer's day, wishing you hadn't gone away.
So powerful, right? So many things you can do. So let me actually change my screen over here to my little presentation right here. How do you get access to CloneVoice? Where are you going to get access to? Let me show you that right now. You can get access to CloneVoiceAI here, CloneVoice.ai/go. The idea here is that we are increasing the price every single day. So you'll have two options. We have the all access account. This is where you're going to get access to all the features for a one-time payment, again, with free updates, meaning version 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, whatever it is will be free. So you're not going to have to pay extra for any of those. And any new features we add into CloneVoice will be free as well as an all access customer. And the idea is it's one-time payment. So no monthly fees, yearly fees, anything like that at all. We've done the same with other previous applications like Artistly, which had 6 version updates for free. We've done that with our other application called Video Express, which has had version 2.0. Talking Photos version 3.0 is coming up soon. So all these updates have been free, whether you got it a year ago, 2 years ago for those, and same thing will happen with CloneVoice.ai. So make sure you get the all access account. It's very, very cheap compared to the competitors like, for example, what you see with 11 Labs or Suno for music and some of the other platforms out there, which are all recurring subscriptions, have rate limits and credits rate extracted by, is all inclusive. And the other beautiful part is, which we're going to be doing training on specifically, is how to integrate CloneVoice.ai. So let's say you want to create videos, right? And video podcasts and video songs with lip sync and stuff like that. How do you do that? Well, instead of buying another tool, okay, and paying extra money for that tool, like recurring subscriptions and stuff like that, where you got to pay extra for lip sync and stuff, you can actually bring our other applications in the ecosystem. So majority of our customers have already purchased other applications of ours, right? So for example, VideoExpress.ai, which does video scenes, and where you can just give it a prompt and generate multiple scenes and do all kinds of cool things there. And then of course, Talking Photos.ai, which is all about lip sync, where you give it an image and does lip sync, whether it's songs, whether it's text to speech or your own voice, whatever the case might be. And of course, Artistly, which generates storybooks and also images and anything you can imagine, with basically being able to publish books or consistent characters and all that kind of good stuff. So what we're doing is, if you have any one of these applications or all of these applications, right, you have all these 3 applications, and then you purchase CloneVoice.ai as well. Okay, you buy CloneVoice.ai in this link. What we are doing is we're going to have you directly use these applications in the specific app. Okay, so for example, this is my Video Express AI. So let's say I want to add a king's photo right here, as you can see, and then I want the king to talk here, this character. I just click on create video. So what we're going to do is, as a CloneVoice.ai customer, we're going to give you the ability to add it directly into our Video Express account, in your Video Express account. So this is private to you. It's going to be specific to you, and we have specific training on this, on how to do it. Super easy. Then all you have to do is just click on this CloneVoice.ai here, and all the voices you create in CloneVoice.ai will be brought in here. So let's say I go to public library, I have a Brave Knight or Dark Sorcerer or whatever voice, I can add that in and have this character lip sync in the video itself. So that's option here, right here, you have within Video Express. Same thing with the songs that you create, same thing that you bring with the media. You can bring it into Video Express and create beautiful videos with lip sync and that sort of thing into, so these 2 applications talk. So you don't have to buy another recurring subscription application out there just to turn these voices and clone voices and public library creative voices and some other application and pay $50 a month or whatever it is these applications charge. You can bring it into our own ecosystem of applications, which are all one-time payment cost applications, and create videos with your clone voices, songs, and beautiful stuff. We'll teach you how to do this right out of the gate, and you can see the demos of this stuff in our website at CloneVoice.ai/go. You'll see it. Like if you go into the application website, you'll see this stuff like this. How do you create videos like this, the talking owl and stuff like that? We'll show you how to integrate within other applications to do so. How do you create stuff like this, where you have a talking person with perfect lip sync? This could be with your voice, it could be your image turned into a video. We'll show you how to do that with integrations with other applications. Audio waves like this. We'll also show you, for example, everything that you see here, like singing mix like this, with this person singing with a guitar. How do you integrate Clone Voice, your voices, your music, your songs, into our other app ecosystem? Just like how Apple has EarPods and, for example, it syncs with their app store, syncs with their phone and stuff like that. Same thing here, okay? The ecosystem will make you do anything you desire, right from video, right from audio, right from storybooks, right from actual scenes and videos, script to video in this particular case here, where you can put and create videos like this for songs of a nice character performing, stuff like this with integrations of our other applications. We'll show you how to do this step by step. That's the beauty of the integration. So you can bring your voices to life with video, images, storybooks, and all that kind of good stuff. And that integration has already started. Phase 1 has already been completed. We've finished Artistly integration. You can actually see it in the tutorials page of CloneVoice.ai. This is done. This is coming up or already there, depending on when you watch this video. And this is going to be coming up in about 2 to 3 weeks time. We're going to notify you. So this will be phase 3 coming in last because the version 3.0 update is coming up for this application. So all in all, that means you have everything in one place with all our applications. You don't have to go and buy some other external tool to do something else. And any new feature requests that you have and stuff, we'll bring it into our app ecosystem so that you have everything in one place and they will all talk with each other. And it's a beautiful integration. And of course, you can go check out other demos at CloneVoice.ai/go. I look forward to seeing you on the inside.